Hey family, welcome back. We're on day 13. That means we are nearing our second week of completion in this yoga journey. It's been a pleasure to share this time and space with you. If you're not already, join me in your comfortable standing position right in the center of your mat as we sink into our yoga practice today. So close your eyes once you found that comfortable standing position. Feet should be about hip-width distance apart. Maybe there's a slight bend in your knees to prevent them from locking. And on each inhale, let's bring our shoulders up by our ears. And on each exhale, let's allow them to melt down and sink towards the mat. One more time, inhale. Shoulders come up by our ears, and exhale, they slowly sink down to the mat. Bring your hands up to rest right above your heart chakra in the center of your chest. And focus in on your why today, your intention. What's your why? We're going to move through this in today's practice. So take a few rounds of breath here as you focus in on that. Deep inhales through your nose and slow, loving releases through your mouth. Great job. On your next round of breath, slowly bat your eyes open. Hello, welcome. And release your hands by your side. On an inhale, you're going to bend your knees and send your hands up above your crown. They'll meet in prayer position. Exhale, allow them to slowly melt their way down to the ground. Good job. Inhale. Sweep your hands up above your head, meeting in prayer position above your crown. Exhale, allow them to slowly melt down to the ground. One more time. Inhale, sweep those arms up above your head. They'll meet in prayer position, but this time we'll have our pointer finger and our thumb extended, kind of like we're making an L. Send your gaze up to your hands. Inhale. Exhale, allow your shoulders to sink down towards the mat. On your next inhale, you're going to slowly send your left hip out to the left as you bend over to the right side, making a crescent shape with your body, a crescent moon shape. Take this moment to check your shoulders. Are they creeping up by your ears? That's okay. On the next exhale, allow them to melt down towards the mat. Perfect. On your next inhale, you're going to bring your body back up to center position and take a deep inhale. Shoulders come up, and exhale, they sink down towards the mat. On your next breath, you're going to do the opposite side, left side. So send your hands over to the left side as your right hip pokes to the right side of the mat. Perfect. Take this moment to see your shoulders alignment. Let's check our shoulders. If they're creeping up by our ears, let's allow them to sink down towards the mat on the next exhale. On your next inhale, come back up to center. Take one round of breath as you gaze up at your hands. Exhale, allow your hands to float down towards the mat. Wonderful. One more time. Inhale. Arms sweep and meet up in prayer hands above your crown. Then we use our pointer finger and thumb. Before we take an inhale and poke that left hip out to the left side. Hands go over to the right, making a crescent moon shape. Perfect. One more round of breath here. Take this moment to check your shoulders. Exhale and come back to center. On the next inhale, we're going to do the same thing on our left side. Hands go over to our left, hip goes over to our right. Shoulders sink down towards the mat. One more round of breath. And on the next inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, allow your fingers to slowly float down to the mat. Wonderful job. Last round. Sweep your hands up above your head. On your inhale, hands meet in prayer position or L shape. On an inhale, we're going to poke our hips over to the left and send our hands over to the right. Press it, move. Take a deep inhale. Take this moment to check your shoulders alignment. Maybe you need to send them down to the mat. Come back up to center. Perfect. On the next inhale, let's slowly send our hips over to the right as our hands go over to the left side of our mat. Shoulders sink down towards the mat. And on the next exhale, come back to center. Take one inhale here. Perhaps you gaze up at your hands, and on an exhale, allow your fingers to slowly melt down towards the mat. Wonderful job. Now join me at the front of your mat. We're going to do a few rounds of sun salves. So on the inhale, sweep your hands up above your head. Hands meet in prayer position. Exhale, we bend our knees and slice down to the ground. Hands gently touch the ground as we paint up our legs, send our crown forward, elbows tucked in, flat back. Exhale, paint back down your legs. Plant your hands outside of your feet and first send your right foot back. Gaze is forward. Our knee is not extending beyond our left ankle. Take one round of breath here. Perfect. Next, our left foot goes back to meet our right foot for plank position, or our knees come down to the mat. On an exhale, send those elbows to the back of the room. Torso melts down to the ground. And on an inhale, we slowly peel our crown and chest up. Hands are located underneath our shoulders. And on an exhale, we melt back down to our mats. On the next inhale, we slowly peel our front torsos as we move through tabletop position. We tuck our toes. We allow our knees to hover before we sink our heels down to the mat for downward facing dog. Find your comfortable dog, and that may mean readjusting your hands or your feet. And take a moment to pedal it out. Bending one knee at a time, allowing each heel to rise and fall towards the ground. Find your place of comfort. Let's get this dog pedaled out. Sink into our practice today. Find your place of stillness. And on your next inhale, slowly walk your feet up to meet your hands at the front of the mat, aiming for the center of your hands. Being sure to step slowly with intention until we make it there. Once you're at the front of your mat, grab each elbow, allow a micro bend in your knees, and take a gentle sway from right to left. Nothing too crazy, it's a gentle sway. Heels are sinking into our mat. We feel the mat with all four corners of our foot. Find a place of stillness, release your hands to the ground, and on your next inhale, paint up your legs with your hands as you send your crown forward, butt back, elbows tighten in by your sides, flat back. Exhale, slowly paint down your legs and release. On your next inhale, slowly stack your spine as we make our way back up to mountain pose, being sure to take our time. Arms sweep out and meet up above our crown. Hands be in prayer position, and on an exhale, they melt down and find their final resting place by our sides. Perfect. Once more, on an inhale, bend your knees, sweep your arms up above your crown, hands meet in prayer position. On an exhale, let's slice down and make our way down to the ground. On an inhale, paint up your legs, ascend your crown forward, butt back, flat back. Exhale, paint down your legs and plant your hands outside of your feet. Next, send your left foot back gently and send your gaze a little forward. Take this moment to check your knees' alignment with your ankle, being sure it's not overextended. Take one more round of breath. And on an exhale, send your right foot back to meet your left for plank pose, or allow your knees to come down to the mat, untuck your toes before you exhale and slowly melt down to the mat. On your next inhale, peel the front of your body up off the mat. Exhale, release back down to the mat. On your next inhale, slowly move through tabletop position. Before you tuck your toes, allow your knees to hover and send your butt up to the sky. Heels sink down towards the mat, and you pedal out your downward facing dog, bending one knee at a time as you allow each heel to sink into the mat, sink towards the mat. Find your place of stillness and slowly walk your feet up to meet your hands at the front of the mat, being sure that we're following our breath and taking our time. Placing one foot in front of the other until we make it to the front of the mat. Once you've made it to the front of the mat, grab each elbow, allow a slight micro bend in your knees, and take a gentle sway from right to left. Nice and gentle. Exhale and release your hands down to the ground. On the next inhale, use your hands to paint up your legs as you slowly send your crown forward, butt back, flat back. Exhale, send your hands back down the way they came. And on your next inhale, you're going to slowly stack your spine as we make our way back up to mountain pose. Moving with intention, following our breath as our hands sweep out and meet up above our crown and make their final way to mountain pose. Perfect. Wiggle your fingers. Take one round of breath and bring your shoulders up by your ears. Exhale and allow them to sink down to the ground. One more time. Inhale, sweep your hands up and then meet above your crown, prayer position. Exhale, butt goes back as we slice down to the ground. Inhale, we paint up our legs, send our crown forward, flat back, elbows tightened by your sides. Exhale, send your hands back down the way they came. The next inhale, send your right foot back and your left foot back for plank pose. If you're comfortable here, on the next inhale, slowly shift your body forward before you send your elbows back and allow your torso to melt down towards the mat. If not, you're moving to this position from your knees. On the next inhale, slowly peel the front of your body off the mat. Perhaps you can go a little higher this time. Exhale, release back down to the ground. On an inhale, we're going to slowly move through tabletop position, this time stopping in tabletop position. So check your hands' alignment with your shoulders. Hands should be directly underneath your shoulders. And knees should be about hip width distance apart, but parallel with your hands. Toes are tucked. And on an inhale, you're going to round your spine and send your gaze to your belly button for cat pose. Exhale, you're going to release. Send your butt up, gaze up, crown up for cow pose. Spread your fingertips on an inhale as you round your back and send your gaze to your belly button. Exhale, release. Send your butt up and gaze up for cow pose. One more time. Inhale. Send your gaze to your belly button as you round your back. Exhale, release back to cow pose. Perfect. Find a place of stillness. Bring your toes together, knees go as wide as the mat, and butt slowly sinks down to your feet. We use our hands to guide our forehead to the mat for extended child's pose. Take a round of breath here. You may allow your arms to rest on the mat, or perhaps they're extended above your crown. Find your place of comfort, your place of stillness, as you take a few rounds and sink into the mat here. Deep inhales through your nose and slow, loving releases through your mouth. One more round of breath here. On your next inhale, use both hands to help you make your way back to your comfortable seat. Perfect. Bring those knees together. Plant those hands like we're in tabletop position. Tuck your toes, and on your next inhale, allow your knees to hover off the mat. Exhale and release them back down. Untuck your toes. Again, tuck your toes. Inhale. Allow those knees to hover off the mat. Spread those fingertips wide. Exhale and release them back down to the mat. Untuck your toes. Perfect. Last round. Tuck your toes. Allow those knees to hover. But this time, we're going to allow our heels to sink down towards the mat as a downward facing dog. Lift one heel at a time as you slowly pedal it out. Good job. Next, step one foot in front of the other as you make your way up towards the front of your mat, in between your hands, so we can make our way back to mountain pose. Grab each elbow and take a gentle sway from left to right. Gentle being the operative word. We're following our breath and listening to our bodies. Find a place of stillness, release your hands. Slowly paint up your legs with your hands as you bring your crown forward. Elbows tighten by your sides, butt is back. Exhale and release them back down the way they came. On an inhale, slowly stack your spine as we make our way to standing position. Following our breath, our hands sweep out and meet up above our heads in prayer position. Exhale, release, and then come back down to mountain pose. Great job. Now you can stay at the front of your mat, but I'm going to demonstrate the next position and move to the center of my mat. So, your feet should be hip-width distance apart, and on an inhale, you're going to slowly allow your arms to frame your head as you pretend like you're sitting back in a chair. Your knees shouldn't extend too far over your toes, and your hands or elbows should be around where your ears are. Now, I want you to respect your chair pose that you're in today, so it might look like this. It may be a little bit lower. The thing that I want you to focus on is finding your place of comfort and stillness, following your breath, and checking the alignment of your hands and toes, and knees. One more round of breath here. And on an exhale, you're going to slowly make your way back up to standing. Send your gaze up before you exhale and release your hands down by your sides. How did that feel? Great job. On an inhale, we're going to do it again. Let's take one round of breath here and bring our shoulders up by our ears. And exhale, allow them to sink down to the mat. On the next inhale, we're going to bring our hands up to frame our head and slowly sit back like we're sitting into a chair. Pretend like your butt's poking out a little bit. Knees shouldn't sickle in. Have them parallel with your feet. Elbows should be close to your ears. And be sure to breathe. On the next exhale, we're going to slowly make our way back up to standing. Inhale, gaze up at your hands. And exhale, allow those fingers to float down towards the mat. Great job. Inhale, bring those shoulders up by your ears. Exhale, send them back and allow them to sink towards the mat. One more round of chair. This will be our best chair pose yet. So, on an inhale, sweep those hands up to frame your head and sit back like we're sitting in a chair. Arms framing our head, knees aren't overextended beyond our toes, and all four corners of our feet are pressed into the mat. One more round of breath here, sink a little lower. Exhale as we make our way to standing. Inhale, gaze up at our hands. Exhale, hands slowly float down to the ground. Wonderful. So if you move to the center of your mat, make your way back to the front of your mat. And on an inhale, we're going to sweep our hands out and up above our head, meeting in prayer position. Exhale. Let's slice our way down to the ground. On an inhale, we'll paint up our legs, send our crown forward, elbows are tucked in, flat back. Exhale, hands go back the way they came. Plant those hands outside of our feet. Send your left foot back, next your right foot back, knees come down to the mat. Untuck your toes and send those elbows to the back of the room on an exhale. On the next inhale, slowly peel the front of your body off the mat. Exhale, release back down to the mat. Then inhale, slowly peel your torso, moving through tabletop position. Bring those toes together. Knees separate as wide as your mat, and slowly guide your butt back to your feet. Great job. Use those hands to extend above our head for our extended child's pose. Let's take a few rounds of breath here. Chair pose is one asana that I love to hate. I love because of the benefits. I hate sometimes because it's difficult for me or challenging for me, but nonetheless, it is useful in our practice, so I wanted to introduce you to it. Take another round of breath, sinking further into your mat, further into this practice, this healthy habit that we're creating together. On the next round of breath, slowly make your way back up to your seated position, using each hand to help guide your body out of child's pose. Perfect. When you get to the top, bring your knees together. Bring both hands over to the left side of your body and swing those legs around. And you know what's next. Let's slowly scooch our bodies down. Let's extend your legs in front of you and slowly guide your back to the mat. And let's sink in. Your heels come together, toes flap open, and palms face the sky or ceiling. Close your eyes, and let's take a few rounds of breath in our favorite position, Savasana. Deep, Loving inhales through your nose and slow releases through your mouth. With each round of breath, you feel your body sink more and more into the ground, further and further into your mat. Great job today. Following your breath is important through every asana that we go through, especially with chair today. Remaining grounded, allowing those feet to be our foundation, and keeping strong arms as we hold them outside of our ears. It's a process, and celebrate your progress along the way. As you find your place of stillness, be sure to take deep breaths through your nose and out through your mouth. Allow yourself this time of stillness just to be. And if your thoughts are floating off to something outside of this moment, here's your gentle reminder and guide to return to the present. Return to now. Return to this space. Nothing outside of this moment right now matters. Let's just be sinking into our practice and our mat, sinking into this healthy habit forming. For your next round of breath, slowly wiggle your fingertips, wiggle your toes, bring awareness back to your body. And when you're ready, bring your left arm over to the right side of your body, making your way to a fetal position, curling up like we're in a little ball. Next, we'll guide our bodies back up to our comfortable seated position in the center of the mat. Although we didn't start this way, this is how we're ending. So I'm going to sit cross-legged. Remember, you can sit on your knees or your comfortable seat, Lotus 2. When you get here, place your hands on your knees and close your eyes. And inhale, bring those shoulders up by our ears, and exhale, allow them to release and fall down to the mat, sinking into the mat. Bring those hands to rest right in the center of your chest, and bring your attention back to your why today, your intention, your purpose. I encourage you to move with that intention through the rest of your day or your week, following the breath, creating a healthy mental practice. It's all important when we start this 2021. Your next round of breath, bring those thumbs to meet right in the center of your eyebrows and give your third eye a gentle massage. It's been a pleasure practicing with you today, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Namaste. See you guys tomorrow on day 14.